For further analysis, we're joined from Hong Kong by economist Benny Kwok. Welcome to Qnews. Let me start by asking you, what are the most significant new elements in the Free Trade Agreement 3.0 upgrade, and how do they change the economic relations between China and ASEAN?
Hello, thank you for inviting me.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, hello. As we all know now, China and the United States having trade disputes, a very big differences on, especially on U.S. is charging the tariff, and the China is using many economic tools, and just like the rare earth, trying to take revenge, and the U.S. is trying to forcing the Southeast Asia to charge the much higher percentage of the so-called the transshipment tariff against Chinese goods. So that's why it is very important for China to expand the FTA with the Southeast Asia, so that the Chinese goods still has the to maintain the export market, especially the Southeast Asia, and to maintain the very good relations with the Southeast Asia. But at this moment, we still don't know whether how US could impose any inspection on Southeast Asia, whether Southeast Asia could really enforce to implement the US requests on checking whether those goods are from China, whether China is using any kind of the transshipment measures to try to evade or to bypass the US tariffs. So that's why it is very important for China to strengthen its economic and trade relations with Southeast Asia. And Southeast Asia also could benefit from the China and the US trade disputes, because both countries, they need Southeast Asia. So that's why Southeast Asia could benefit from the trade disputes of the two biggest economies in the world. So it is the mutual benefits for the China and the Southeast Asia to foster a stronger economic and trade partnerships at this moment.
So how will the inclusion of digital trade and green economy cooperation reshape ASEAN's development and competitiveness?
Southeast Asia is one of the most fast-growing regional economy in the world, and it also needs many technological infrastructures, and also they need the talents, they need the knowledge to try to upgrade economies, by diversify the economies, not just for the manufacturing, but they also need the digital economy. So apart from the West or the United States, China could provide another alternatives, no matter the technologies, no matter the knowledge, or no matter the talents, and it is much cheaper. And because China needs Southeast Asia for the market, and for the Southeast Asia to try to balance the effect, balance the influence from the United States. So that's why I would say both for the China itself, it is very important for the Southeast Asia to provide a very good market for China to export its talent, export its knowledge, and to try to ensure the Chinese technological companies could have room to grow. And for Southeast Asia itself, it is very good for China to invite China to invest its infrastructure, to try to upgrade its the knowledge of the talents and the itself, to try to help the Southeast Asia to upgrade its digital economy. So it is mutual beneficial for both regions.
Yes. So what signal does this agreement send about China's regional leadership ambitions, especially as the US and Japan deepen their own economic ties in Asia?
At this moment, it's even though in the coming meeting in South Korea for the Xi Jinping and Donald Trump, they may have some agreement, but as we all know, between China and United States, their differences, their disagreement is structural. Those disagreements cannot be solved by just one or two or three so-called the agreement on the negotiation, because it's much more complicated. It is not just about the trade, it's not just about the economy, it's about the geopolitical influence, about Taiwan, about South China Sea, about who could control, who could maintain to be the leader for the global economy and the global security as well. So that's why both, I would say, from the United States side, you are seeing Donald Trump is fostering the rare earth agreement with the first Pakistan and also Australia and now Japan, and of course it is about China. Try to balance the effect for the China who is now controlling the rare earth production as well. So on the other side, China needs, because they are losing the United States market because of the tariff. So China needs the very strong, stable, and growing export market, so that the Chinese goods could have the room for the Chinese companies to have a room to grow, and also the Chinese goods they can find end users. Because of the United States and Europe, they are getting more protected. They are trying to reject the cheap Chinese goods, and that's why the Southeast Asia would be the next very good alternative for China. So that's why using before the Xi Jinping and the Donald Trump meet, both China and the United States getting prepared. They are not prepared to negotiate, to have any agreement, because those agreements is just to try to please the financial market and try to please the Chinese and American people. But I would say it is you have to look at what they have done before the meeting. Yes. They are trying to prepare well and try to strengthen for the bargaining power, so that during the meeting, and to see whether those agreement and those negotiation could be beneficial for either side. Okay. So I would say it is much more important for looking at what Donald Trump and Xi Jinping have done before the meeting rather than the meeting itself.
Yes. Let's discuss the U.S.-Japan investment deals. What is driving the U.S. and Japan to commit nearly $1 trillion combined to sectors like the semiconductors, nuclear energy, and infrastructure? And how much of this is about countering China's influence?
First, I would say because of the new Japanese minister who is I would say pro-Abe, who is a very important ally for the Shinzo Abe. And Shinzo Abe the late Shinzo Abe is also a very close friend for Donald Trump. So that's why you're seeing Donald Trump is giving a backhand. It is very welcome. He tried to praise new Japanese prime minister. I would say it is one of the very personal diplomacy between the U.S. and the Japan. And also, of course, in Asia, the Japan is the most important ally for the United States, no matter what is containing the China trade and economic influence, and also about the Taiwan geopolitical status for Taiwan. United States needs the Japan, and of course, Japan needs the United States as well. So that's why before the new prime minister, you were seeing the previous prime minister from Japan. They also have reached agreement with the United States on trade, whether even though those trade agreements or those trade results is much more beneficial for the United States, and but Japan needs to give some, I would say, give some benefits for the United States, so that the U.S.-Japan security alliance could be maintained as long as they could.